right, now for the main event on Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, ESPN, Alabama hosting Auburn, Coleman Coliseum. Let me give a bunch of stats here before we get Jay's opinion. So Alabama 21-3 straight up, 14-10 ATS. They are 10-1 straight up at home. The lone blemish, a 74-64 loss to Ole Miss. They're only 6-5 against the spread at home, but that's misleading. Here's their winning margins at home: 21, 7, 16, 28, 23, 27, 8, 8 again, 9, and 56. Their smallest spread at home was -11 to Creighton, who's going to be a tournament team, and they didn't cover. They won by 8. And then their second smallest spread at home was 11.5 to Vandy. So they've obviously been enormous favorites at home. They're number one in the nation in scoring, averaging 90.5 points per game. Ken Palm has Bama ranked second nationally in offensive efficiency, 6th in pace, and 40th in defensive efficiency. All right, Auburn, 22-2 straight up, 15-9 against the spread. Let's see. Auburn at Ken Palm, number one in the nation in offensive efficiency, 17 in defensive efficiency. All right, they played twice last year at Bama. Alabama won 79-75 as a push, as a 4-point favorite. The 154 combined went under the 161.5 point total. Janai Broome was fantastic that night, but he was limited to 26 minutes because he fouled out. But he made 11 of 17 field goal attempts, 25 points, 14 boards, and 5 block shots. Mark Sears had 22 points, 8 assists, 5 boards, 3 steals. He did commit 5 turnovers, and Grant Nelson had a double-double with 14 and 11. When they played at Auburn, Auburn won 99-81 as a 6-point favorite. The 180 combined points went over 161.5. Broome had 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 blocks. All right, just quickly on the total. The over is 14-10 overall for Auburn, cashing in 4 of its last 5 games. They have had a number of totals in the 156-157 range, but their highest total was 167.5. This one's probably going to be low 170s. They had 167.5 against UNC in the Maui Classic, and that went under 85-72 for 157 combined. Auburn's average combined scores are 152.6. The under is 12-11-1 overall for Alabama and 8-3 in its home games. Bama games average combined scores of 169 points per game. All right, just real quickly, I'll say my line is Bama -4. I'll love Bama at -3 or fewer, but I think it's going to be very close to pick 'em.
I'm on Auburn on the money line.
All right.
I mean, and call it a homer pick, call it whatever you want. Bama's numbers are impossible to gauge trends because Vegas overvalues, as you noted, overvalues them at home and jacks the over to a place that that Vegas dares you to take the most prolific, not the most efficient, but the most prolific offense in terms of points and pace. They dare you to take the over. So they are jacking that beast up. But to counteract the Ken Palm numbers, I really tend to look, and I know Ken Palm does a great job. I mean, there's a whole lot of layers of analytics and algorithms and all those things that are far and away ahead of my Auburn education. But I tendency to look at teamrankings.com because they take out non-Division I games in terms of, so of course Alabama's, if they line up against a Prairie View or whoever they played the week before Christmas, they may have beat them 125-40. The numbers I have, according to teamrankings.com, in terms of offensive efficiency, Auburn is 1. Alabama's 10th. And that's in terms of points per 100 possessions. Auburn's at 1.2. Alabama's at 1.15. In terms of defensive efficiency, Auburn's 37th nationally. Alabama's 106. And there's the rub. Alabama, I mean, hey, if you don't want to play Auburn, then you're going to have to play the over, because Alabama's going to have to outscore them because they're not going to stop them.
Teamrankings.com. Do you have to have a membership to go there? I just pulled it up.
I mean, I don't necessarily know. I could be one of those poster childs for that new website where you can sign in and get rid of all of whatever you're subscribing to, because I don't have any idea how many different things I am paying for out of some random credit card.
So, my take on this game is just advantage Alabama being at home. But I will say this, because I just brought up those Janai Broome stats. I mean, he killed Alabama last year. Well, they didn't have Big Cliff Amore to defend him last year. I mean, I guess it was Pringle that matched up with him last year. I'm just totally guessing.
Well, and it may have been some Grant Nelson, too.
Yeah, a little bit of Grant Nelson as well, who gets out.
And he can't handle him on the block.
He gets out muscled every time. But Amore is one of the best interior defenders in the country. So that'll be interesting to see how much better they defend Broome with oh, and by the way, this just randomly came in my head. Do you know how old Chad Baker Mazzara is?
I think he's 23, but you want to hear something great? You want to hear a great stat for Auburn fans?
Uh-huh.
With the Diego Pavia ruling, since he played junior college basketball, he's eligible to come back.
Oh, wow. This is interesting. And I'll tell you how I heard this stat, and I obviously looked it up. He's 25, but guess who he's older than? He's older than Luka Doncic.
Yeah. And probably SGA. I mean, he's probably older than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah. He was such a monster. Check out this front door push last night for OKC. They were minus 14. They outscored the Heat 34-8 in the fourth quarter to win by exactly 14. I didn't have it, but I just noticed it this morning. All right. So you like Auburn.
Big on Auburn here. I think.
Did I even tell you what the KenPom number was? Did I?
You said your line was 4.
Yeah. What do you think the KenPom number is before I tell you?
Probably 6.
For who? Alabama? Obviously, you think Alabama. It has Auburn -2, 88-86 projection. So that would be 174 for a total, which would be by far Auburn's highest of the year. Would you have a take on the total? I can't play that total. That's just too high. I mean, I'm not playing it under, but
too many. I mean, I'm locked and loaded on Auburn. I mean, even if they're laying points, I think Auburn plays their best game of the year, and I really do. And here's the other part of this. Auburn's length defensively is really going to frustrate a whole lot of those Alabama shooters. And I don't know. I think this is a great place, and I think they're going to be a whole – you look at who they've played, Auburn is way more battle-tested in moments like this than Alabama is.
Well, they've both had great schedules. But, yeah.
They have both had great schedules. But, I mean, Auburn, you were talking about Missouri being 11 deep. Auburn's at least 11 deep, and 9 of them are seniors. So they've been in these games for years and years. Don't get me wrong, Mark Sears has been in a whole lot of wars. Grant Nelson's been in a whole lot of wars. I'll be really interested to see how Aiden Hollowell plays.
Oh, I did notice that I was looking at the box scores from last year's games. That game that at Alabama, Aiden Holloway was 0 of 7 from the field for Auburn. Now he's on the other team.
I love this place for Auburn, and if this is one of those rare moments that if Auburn does not win, or if Auburn loses enough not to cover, depending on, I got to believe by the time the line ends, you're either going to find this as a pick 'em or Alabama's going to be laying numbers.
Yeah, I agree. But if Alabama's 3 or fewer, I like Alabama. Jay likes Auburn, even if he has to lay a few points, but he doesn't. Neither one of us think that he will have to. And we're both a pass on the total. So 4 p.m. Eastern, Alabama, Auburn. Jay and I's picks are butting heads. Oh,
all right. So, hey, on a quick side tangent of this, not only is this the first time in SEC history one plays 2 in an in-conference game, do you want to guess what is the price for the cheapest ticket on StubHub currently?
Oh, that is interesting. How many? Oh, here, I got it right here. How many Coleman holds? 1 second. Let's see. Coleman holds 15,316, which is a lot more than Neville Arena.
Yeah.
So, but is it still Neville Arena prices? What, $400, $500?
Standing room, you can get a ticket to get in the door in the $370 range as of an hour ago.
Wow.
To get an actual seat, it's north of $420.
Wow. All right. Wow. It's going to be a good one.